It is indeed a very beautiful new week, and I'm delighted to bring you newspaper review on High Impact Television. Today, the 7th day in the month of March 2022. How was your weekend? I trust it was restful. As we can see this morning on our ways to the office, and even yesterday, we were able to note that the scarcity across the country, particularly in Lagos State, seems to be declining. The majority of fuel stations that we came across over the weekend and this morning seem to have seen a decline in the long queues and people rushing to panic buying, and issues like that have been declining. Is that a good news? Obviously it is, but there's still more in regards to that. As we can see on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have a report talking about how the World Bank has projected 4 trillion naira 2022 fuel subsidy, and the experts have predicted that there will be more loans. That's one conversation that we have on the papers this morning. Live with us in the studio in person of Adejumo Babatunde Rufai, a political and public analyst, to be discussing some issues with us this morning. Good morning, Babatunde Rufai.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good to be with you.
Thank you for joining us on the review. Let's start with the most, just about one issue that is in Nigeria currently, talking about the fuel scarcity. You know, what was the situation like on your way here compared to the situation last week?
Thank you. The situation is keep improving. Nigerians can now have a relief of the fuel crisis that have been rocking the nation for over 2 weeks now. But the most important thing is that the price is now a little bit on the high side. I was trying to do my research this morning. While I entered some filling stations, I discovered that some are selling above the pump price approved by the federal government.
Can you give us a price that's...
Some are selling at 200 naira per litre, while some are selling at 185 naira per litre. But at common filling stations that have good reputations outside there, they are still selling within the rate of the pump price, which is 165 naira.
So would we say that this increment in the price that is being sold in some fuel stations is one that has come to stay even after the scarcity, because we can see that the queues are lessening?
What I could say is that this is just the major reason why these queues we found on our roads are now lesser, because some of the filling stations that are holding this product are now opening to sale. But the most important is that Nigerians now have this product. Nigerians can now go, instead of having long queues and still buying above the pump price, Nigerians now have this product available and they can easily buy.
Right. We have a report here on the Punch newspaper that says World Bank project 4 trillion naira 2022 fuel subsidy as experts predict more loans. Now, with the current fuel crisis, not just even the fuel price in Nigeria, the global oil price and all of that, what is the implication of this?
What this report is saying is just simply that the World Bank are just advising the federal government to deregulate the downstream sector of the oil. But to me, this is a common commodities that Nigerians take from the federal government on a daily basis. So it's part of social amenities that government need to provide for its citizens. Look at the diesel part of oil. It is completely deregulated, and as of this morning, diesel is sold for 565 naira. Wow. So by the time they deregularize this fuel, and it becomes 600 naira per litre or 700 naira per litre, because these are common commodities. And so government should just keep their head straight, continue to pay subsidies, and ensure that in the true sense, these products are shipped into the country. That is just it, because if you deregularize this particular sector and Nigerians now go to have this commodity at 600 naira per litre, it will be more worse than this. The economy will skyrocket and everybody will have no money to even purchase the product.
We're already seeing the economy, a lot of people are complaining. We are also feeling the effect of this on the economy. But one thing to note here is how experts have said the federal government would borrow more to finance rising fuel subsidy payments. Now we are resorting to loans to finance subsidy payments. What is the way out of this? What is the implication of this?
Every budget of a nation is funded through loans. So you can't say because of you want to remove fuel subsidy, we are not going to borrow. If you want to construct number of kilometers of road, we still need to go to World Bank to lend some fund, because there is the fund is not even available. So if you want to bring Nigerians to their knees, is when you are going to tell them you are going to borrow more. We know we are already owing a lot.
But should we still keep going into debt, despite the fact that yes, we are owing a lot, we are trying to revive the economy, we are trying not to go back into another critical recession? Should we now still see loans as a major option or something to fall back to?
We don't need
at this time.
We don't need loans.
So what
we need is to look inward, bring more people into the tax nets, ensure that more Nigerians pay more tax. If you have fleets of cars, pay more tax. That is how they do in the advanced countries. You don't need to put your country into mess because you want to fund a particular project. Bring more Nigerians into the tax net. Ensure that they are paying their taxes, and look inward. Cut costs. If a governor is traveling from his own state to another state with a fleet of cars, why not go with one convoy at the front, one convoy at the back, then you bring at the middle? Is it not for your own security? Why would you even need the security for if you have done well to your countrymen?
So you're talking about bringing more Nigerians into the tax net.
We need
now,
it.
Yes, so we've had reports of Nigerians complaining about the tax they are paying being increased over time. Yet, despite the fact that we have seen an increment in the amount of tax being paid by Nigerians, the loans are still increasing. So how do we strike a balance? How do we get to a point where we know that this tax is increased and it is being used for the purpose that it was actually collected for?
If Nigerians have friends across the world, you know that what we pay in Nigeria in terms of taxation is lesser to what they pay in other countries. What we just need to check is multiple taxations, whereby the local government charge the same thing the state government is charging, the federal government charge the same thing the state government is charging. Let us come together, harmonize, and let us have an harmonized taxation. Then Nigerians will be better for it. What we need the money for is to fund the projects. It's called physical project, infrastructure development. Nigerians should be happy being a Nigerian. So what we need is strictly Nigerians checking, the government now checking the multiple taxations, and Nigeria ensuring that they are paying their taxes.
So, yes, I get you. Nigerians ensuring they are paying their taxes. Now, don't you think that it is necessary for a committee or a panel or a body, whatever it is, to be set up to ensure that these taxes that Nigerians are paying is actually being used for the purpose it is collected for? That's a major concern.
There are a lot of committees, there are a lot of agencies in charge of this. What the EFCC is also doing is also to put a check to it. There is a committee called NFIU. They also aim to put a check into this, but what the sincerity of it is what we need. Nigeria needs to be truthful to ourselves. We need to tell ourselves the truth. We need to do this work as truly countrymen. Not when we get there, we want to audit a particular organization, a government organization now, and when you get there, they're offering you brown envelope, as we call it in the media parlance. And you know, when you get the brown envelope, you just forget about the work you came to do, which at the end of the day, it will still boil down to you. You are still going back with that same brown envelope to the street to buy the same commodity an ordinary countryman is also buying. So what we need is sincerity of purpose. Nigerians put at the particular set of the economy should do it diligently. Then we'll have this country we'll be proud of.
Right, sincerity of purpose, that's something you should hold on to there. But away from that conversation, let's talk about another major sector in the country that is suffering a lot of setbacks. Let's talk about the educational sector. You know, on the 14th of February, you're aware that the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, embarked on a 1-month warning strike, and it is 3 weeks exactly today. And just barely 1 week to go, with hopes that the strike will be called off. We're getting reports how ASU have said they are not going back on their words if the federal government does not meet their demands. And the federal government, through its the Minister of Employment, Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has said the federal government does not have the funds that ASU is asking for. What is the way out of this at this point?
What is happening between the federal government and ASU is not far-fetched. It has been long, and since 2009, there was an agreement between the federal government and ASU. And what is the gentleman agreement? It's just for the federal government to be sincere, ensure that even if you are not going to meet up the agreement at 100%, at least meet up some certain amount of the agreement, some certain percentage of the agreement, and ensure that the both parties are happy doing the business. Now, a lecturer who goes to class, teach 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, still take master's, PhD, and you are owing him. He also have family to feed. You also have businesses to run. You also have other things to do with money. And you are expecting him to still go to the Nigerian market to buy the same commodity that is skyrocketing every day. You just need to help this country. We all need to come on the table, tell ourselves the truth. If federal government by now is saying they don't have money to fund or to give to ASU, and you are giving grant to other nations, we need to tell ourselves the truth. Nigerians need to come together at this point and say it the way it is. Now, let ASU also have it at the back of your mind that they need to help the Nigerian students. A course or a discipline of 4 years is taking 8 years. We need to look at it from the family background as well. They are also family. They are also parents. We are family. We need to work hand in hand. Okay. Federal government is not ready to yield to our request. What do we do? Look internally. Look internally. Work among your students. Most of these lecturers sells handout. Some of them sells books. So you make money from it, even if federal government is not paying. Most of us don't even depend on our salary again. We depend on other many jobs we do. So if federal government is not ready to fund it, instead of keeping everybody, tying everybody's end, we should just think out of the box. There are some universities that are not part of ASU.
Yeah.
I'm aware Unilorin is not part of ASU. I'm aware other universities are not part of ASU. Okay, is it that they are not being affected by what is happening in the country?
Well, we need to understand the fact that it goes just beyond the payment of the salaries. That's one aspect of it. Rehabilitation of the educational structure and educational system is one of that. Now, you talked about them looking internally, their lecturers that sell handouts, but do you think that this would actually suffice, knowing that the monies that the federal government is owing these lecturers is a lot of money and they still have to go to work every day? So is the money that will be gathered from selling handouts or materials enough to actually meet the needs of these lecturers? Now we're looking at the angle of lecturers. Now we're not even talking about the students yet. We know that students now, to go for NYSC, there's an age limit to it. Some job opportunities come with age limits, yet these students are being stalled in school. So how do they want to progress from this, even if the lecturers are now saying, okay, let us look inward since we can generate funds like this, and the body is saying, no, we are still staying on this issue?
Let me just say this for the record. Nigerian and Nigerians need to think Africa. We need to know that there are some things that they do outside the country that are not implementable here. So if we look at other part of the country, in so part of the country, they are collecting this. Do you look at the amount of tax they pay? Do you look at other things that have been deducted from their salaries? These lecturers and ASU, let me say, ASU and federal government are just playing into the gallery. What do I mean by this? The ASU knows federal government is not ready. They know they are not ready to implement this agreement. And ASU want them to implement the agreement for who suffers? The students. Let them just think out of the box. Like I keep saying, everywhere I go, I tell them, think out of the box. There are some things you can do. You are teaching us to be an entrepreneur. Lecturers too should try and be entrepreneur in their own thinking too. We can't continue like this. The federal government is not ready. ASU is not ready. Then who suffers? Age limit of 30 years, you cannot go for service. And some of them are just 28, 29. And at 30, you just discover that what they are going to give you is a letter of exemption from NYSC. and you project yourself that by age 28, I should be able to finish my program here. Not that you have carryover, not that you have a missing script or whatever. But the problem between federal government and ASU is not affecting the student. I just want to implore ASU to look inward, to think about the student, to think about the parents who fund the student, to think about themselves. That, well, this is our country. If today the federal government is not ready to implement, most of these ministers are also professors in various universities. And what is happening? They should talk to themselves and implement whatever is implementable. Whatever is not implementable, let them go back to round table and reorder the agreement.
Well, one of the issues, was the payment platform of the IPPIS, and we have report how the committee that looked into it will present their report tomorrow, which is Tuesday. So that's one part of it. We'll get to see how that
the report is out.
Unfolds. Lastly, before we let you go this morning, very quickly, let's talk about the 2023 elections and the APC National Convention, the crisis rocking the party at the time. Now, the president, has gone for his 2 weeks medical vacation in the United Kingdom and has handed over the state of affairs to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. And one of the things he said was that the APC National Convention, which is scheduled for the 26th of March, which is 19 days from today, will still hold, and that they would resolve their internal crisis regardless. What you make of this? I'm sure you've seen all the issues that have been surrounding it, the nominations, the party tickets, and all of that. What's your take on that?
I think the problem of APC and what they need to do is that they don't have a clear cut of what they want to do. Most importantly, the CPECC that have been constituted to spend just 6 months and is now spending close to 2 years. Now they are bringing in some things. Before now, they brought about a revalidation of your membership card. After that, they brought about, now you want to have zonal congresses. As of this morning, the state chairmen are saying, few days to zonal congresses, we don't have information of how the Congress is going to go about. And let me tell you that since the coming on board of APC in 2014, there is nothing like a zonal Congress. It has never happened. It's coming for the first time, and in fact, most of the people are not used to it. So the party now needs to think inward. The party needs to tell themselves the truth. Are they ready to hold a convention? Before now, it was supposed to hold December 5. Yeah. After December 5, it was shifted to February 26. After February 26, knowing that there's going to be a by-election in some states. After February 26, now you're going for March 26. Now look at it. March 26, and INEC just released their timetable. March 26 to June 3rd, which is the last date for primary elections. I wonder how APC is going to scale for, because there is going to be fallout of Congress. Zonal Congress, there's going to be fallout. There's going to be fallout of convention. There's going to be fallout of primaries. How do you resolve all of these before 2023 general elections? Yeah. So the party needs to just shuttle their sword and think party first.
Okay, we'll see how that comes out at the end of the day. Thank you so much, Adejumoro Babatunde. That's all we can take on the review this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
As much as we can take a newspaper review this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember that you can follow us across all of our social media platforms at High Impact TV, High Impact TV UK, and on Instagram at @newsaroundtheglobe_. Major thanks to our guests for joining us on the review this morning. Till I see you next time, I am Sarah Owusu-Ansah. Stay safe.